was really making the rounds.
People who are fleeing murder capitals of the world. There are children who are fleeing murder capitals of the world, who have fled, most of them, murder capitals of the world. We have families.
I love when
that
they
are
show how the
fleeing
talking
murder
points are all
capitals of
exactly the
world.
same. Yeah, they're these
A
kind of...
mother who pays a coyote. Imagine a mother who makes a decision to pay a coyote.
Is that like is there like a Mexican Spanish like way of pronouncing it, coyote? That's what I thought, but then I saw people all like mocking her the way she says it. It's like she's trying to sound quote unquote ethnic, but she just sounds patronizing.
Is she talking about the animal?
Pays a coyote.
No. That's what they call people that like secretly like get you over the border or like get you to the border. Yeah.
Okay.
Often through a caravan with a coyote even. To transport her child through their country of origin, through the entire country of Mexico. Of traveling through the entire country of Mexico.
The people. I just noticed
across
that
the entire
sign.
country of Mexico. Through the entire country of Mexico.
God, I hate everyone.
It was safer for them to take that trek through Mexico. Facing unknown peril. Facing unknown peril. Facing unknown peril. In what they know could be a perilous journey. We have always presented ourselves as being a nation of strength with strong arms. The strong arms of America.
This is like testing patience, which is, I don't know. You can probably tell what's leading up to, obviously.
That when people are fleeing harm, we will embrace them. Which will embrace and protect anyone fleeing or facing harm. Should be here to receive anyone who is fleeing harm.
Just don't come.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek
to the United
States-Mexico border.
And the strong arms of America.
Do not come.
But what does Donald Trump do? But what does this president do? He virtually looks at those children and says, go back to where you came from.
I'm about to be talking about myself in the future. Not to flick them away and say, go back to where you came from. And that's the kind of policy we've had from this administration. He says, go back to where you came from. That is not reflective of our America and our values, and it's got to end. Woo!
And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
Wait, what?
If you come to our border, you will be turned back.
She's just trying to say it's out of her hands. Like, she really wanted to embrace all the people who were coming, but now that she's in power, she knows how the cogs work, and she's just trying to be upfront, man.
Yeah, you're very forgiving.
Poor Kamala Harris. She can't live her dreams.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast for the sentient and insentient alike. animal, mineral, or vegetable. We do not discriminate. Well, not all the time. Our pre-recorded sounds come to you from Seoul, South Korea on this Monday, June 21st, 2021, year of our Lord of the Dance. It's 10:37 in the morning, and our meteorologist, Jason Newland, what's the weather like where you're sitting?
Oh man, it's sunny.
Oh, same here. We lined up finally. Sunny morning. I see a distinct lack of hail, of lightning. We are sandstorm free. Not a tsunami in sight, and no wildfires either. Looking good. So today's Monday. You do anything interesting over the weekend?
No.
Nothing? So I haven't been drinking really at all for the most part. Minus
Did you drink?
Twice. Two aberrations since in the last almost 7 months now.
Yeah.
But I had a third last night.
Oh, okay.
It started off so innocently. I mean, I didn't get like super fucked up, but like me and Haewon had 2 bottles of soju at dinner.
No, that's not so much.
But I like, because I have like no tolerance right now, like I woke up feeling kind of pretty shitty, but so I'm a little groggier than usual right now, but anyway, yeah, I think I smoked like 2 cigarettes. I don't feel great about that, but what's 2 more in like a lifetime of smoking, basically? So, all right. I just remembered I got to go to work in like hour and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably.
Me too.
Probably a little less than that, actually.
Okay, listen to it. I'm sorry.
No. That was whatever.
I think
I'm the one who asked about the weekend, so
with my desktop dying, it's unfocused me a bit more than normal.
yeah, it's all right. What focuses you is hatred, burning hatred for the injustice around the world that surrounds you.
Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, just to lay out what's on the.
So in your life, here's what I want you to think about, listeners and Josh. Imagine you have 2 grandpas, because you do, most likely. They might not be living, but some way you've had 2 people that could have been your grandfathers. Which one is your Trump grandfather and which one is your Joe grandfather?
I know mine immediately because one of my grandfathers, who is still alive, is a huge Trumper guy, so he must be the Trump one, and he's the one I'm. But it's not. But the other grandfather, who's no longer with us, I actually liked to talk to, unlike Joe Biden. All the times I've talked to Joe Biden personally.
I have a feeling that if you ever sat down with Joe, you would like talking to him.
If I didn't know anything about him and I was just ignorant as hell, yeah,
maybe he could sit you down. And
maybe he could charm me.
There's some ice cream. Here's some ice cream, young man.
I don't think nowadays though. I think he's too fucking demented. He can't. I mean, there's some of the stuff I was gonna bring up. Like, I guess I'll just bring it up now. It's just like him, like, losing his shit on these reporters that are like asking him softball questions. He's like not even being challenged, and he's just like waving, shaking his finger in their face and yelling at him, and then like 3 days later he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. Oh, if that." But yeah, I had that, I think, way down at the bottom of the list a bit. But Yeah, there's I'll credit this person. They're good Twitter follow. Their handle is gritty2022. Or that's their at whatever. Gritty is the way.
That's true.
But they wrote, the press could not plausibly be friendlier to Biden, but it's still not good enough for that sociopathic narcissist. And then there's a video of Biden like clapping back at a polite question that makes him look good. Like, I'm not going to play the video, but this was right after he met with Putin, and the reporter was like basically being like, you know, like something like basically like, why didn't Putin like admit to his concretely admit to all his wrongdoings? It's just these Russiagate lunatics.
Sure.
And Biden's just like, you can see he's just getting confused. It's like the end of the day, and he's just like, well, here, I've got the quote. Biden said, to be a good reporter, you got to be negative. So he's being real sassy here. You've got to have a negative view of life, okay? It seems to me. The way you never ask a positive question. He's just like such a big fucking baby. Like, he's like, give me the questions I want. And then, even though the question was like, Mr. Hero Biden, sir, why didn't you beat up the mean Russian man? Like, that was basically the tone of the question. I don't know. Actually, in that example, it's not even that great, because there Biden's actually trying not to just like completely trash talk Putin, even though he's doing it earlier in like a press conference after meeting with him. Which, yeah, I mean, yeah, this thing he said in the press conference about, I'll just read it. I mean, it's just wild, funny shit.
I think I saw this video, but yeah, definitely read it.
Yeah. This was the talk of the town, talk of the Twitter town, at least.
I love that town.
Twitterville.
Some people hate it, but I mean, I go there and everyone's so fucking mean. It's great. It's like you say one thing and everyone's like, what about this?
Yeah. I actually see a fair amount of camaraderie on mine, but mine's like a real echo chamber, I guess. Like, I don't really follow people that I hate for the most part. But I mean, I know what you mean. So anyway, Biden is like giving this press conference. He's just met with Putin for like 4 hours. I guess it took that long partially because like there's a lot of everything had to be translated both ways.
There's a lot of ice cream to eat.
A lot of ice cream to eat. A lot of Ruskies to put in their place.
I really like the idea of Joe and Putin, just Joe handing like Putin ice cream and being like, you got to try this flavor. And Putin being like, you got to try this vodka. As he hands it over to Joe. Until they exhaust all the options and you're like, okay, time for business.
Joe would lose his shit, man. He's very opposed to alcohol. So anyway.
How can you do business agreements in Russia if you're not going to drink their vodka?
I don't know. He probably has no problem like getting like some sex trafficked women in his hotel room. I mean, so I've heard in my own mind. Source, my own mind. So yeah, Biden just said to a group of reporters, about this meeting, about speaking about Russia's interference with elections, which is like still never been substantiated, really. I mean, there were like bot farms, of course, but there are bot farms fucking everywhere. Anyway, that would be sidetracked to talk about the ins and outs of Russiagate. I'm coming to it with the assumption that Russiagate is bullshit. Biden said, "How would it be if the United States were viewed by the rest of the world as interfering with the elections directly of other countries?" I noticed that, like, after seeing this many times, that the word directly seemed kind of deliberately slipped in there. Like, yeah, maybe we interfere indirectly, but never directly. And everybody knew it. Biden asked, "What would it be like if we engaged in activities that Putin's, engaged in? It diminishes the standing of a country that is desperately trying to make sure it maintains its standing as a major world power." Yeah, I mean, obviously the absurd thing is that the United States has never interfered with another country's elections, when, like,
Ever.
like even the official like government accounts, not to mention like all of the fucking secretive CIA shit that we don't know about. It's something like 80 elections or 80 countries' elections that we've interfered with just since World War II. We do it all the time. And then even, okay, let's say we never interfered with a single election. No, instead we just invade militarily or set up military bases. This is really just like a perfect example of how unself-aware so many Americans are, and how desperate how desperate they are to view themselves as the good guy in the movie, in their minds. And
everyone's Tom, everyone's Maverick, getting ready to shoot down the MiGs.
Is this Top Gun?
This is Top Gun. I can't wait for Top Gun 2.
I have not seen
Unironically, I'm probably excited about that movie because, much like your brother, I love Top Gun. And I know that it's just a propaganda thing. I think you told me your brother loves Top Gun. Maybe that was someone else.
That's someone else.
Someone's brother who is much like us in political thinking also loves Top Gun. Who the fuck is that? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it wasn't me. But
makes sense that it's not you, because it was someone who has an older brother who's my age.
Yeah, I'm the oldest in my family, so. So yeah, I mean, really, what is there to really elaborate on that? I mean, unless people don't know, I mean, just fucking take a look. Like the U.S. government has bragged about doing this. Like, one example I saw brought up. I mean, a perfect example is because it was in modern day Russia, was getting Boris Yeltsin elected, and I saw like the old some old like clippings or whatever from that time, from the mid 90s, and it was literally like U.S. saves Boris or something like that, and it's just like a political cartoon of like Boris Johnson waving at a wait, what am I saying? Boris Johnson,
Boris Johnson?
Yeltsin, waving an American flag, and yeah, we 100% orchestrated that election to get that drunk, bumbling moron into office again because he was a useful asset.
Didn't we get Putin into office, or we're just making that up?
Putin?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I just kind of assume that America influences every election.
I mean, I'm trying to remember, like, in the
Adam
Curtis documentary, like, Putin was more like a a reactionary reaction to the failure of the post, Soviet years, and which involved Yeltsin and stuff. Yeah, I mean that's why the U.S. doesn't like Putin's whole thing is he kind of like strong-armed his way in and worked his way up the ranks to get where he was, and that's why he's seen as this like cold-hearted whatever bureaucrat or killer, as Joe Biden called him. It's just,
I got you.
We could get really sidetracked on the Putin and maybe we should just talk about it on another episode because it is interesting. I was listening to to some interviews with him, and then like the way that the U.S. media talks about Russia is so fucking like bigoted.
Same way they talk about China.
Yeah. But, like, there's some women on Democracy Now, which, you know, used to be considered like a sort of left wing outlet.
Yeah, I generally like Democracy Now through most of my life.
But they're just as like they're just as like poisoned by Russiagate hysteria. Like they just had this woman on who's like she's an ex-Russian citizen, and she has like a personal grudge against Putin. Like she was writing books about hating Putin, like way before like the Trump era.
Sure.
But she literally said like the reason Russians aren't vaccinating quickly enough, so they're criticizing Russia's vaccine rollout, is because the Russian people don't value human life. That's literally what she said. Can you imagine like anyone saying that about the United States and the way the United States would react, or about any of our like sort of allies? Like Israelis don't value human life, you know. Anyway,
I occasionally question if the United States values human life.
I mean, I think plenty of people in the I don't think you can really like put that kind of character on an entire nation. I mean, I guess you can make generalizations, but like they don't really mean much, because it's like, what are you basing this on? You're basing this on like your own personal like consumption of media. That's it.
Yeah, I agree there. I think most individuals value human life. I was thinking more of just like the overarching like governments.
Yeah. Those. Yeah, of course. I mean, like if there's a premise to our show, which I'm more and more thinking maybe there isn't, but if there is, it's probably that. What's the word I want to use? Captains of industry, we'll call them, absolutely do not value human life. That it's, you know, it's numbers in a machine, and we're just, you know, we're Soylent Green pellets, which is, yeah, see my background, my Zoom background?
We're profit redistributors.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. So a couple of things. I think I brought up the weekend because there are a few stories that came out over the weekend, and I mean, other things have happened since last Monday when we last
talked about current events.
Went on a tear through everything that's wrong with the current administration, and I guess I'm not shocked, but yeah, I'm just like every week I'm gonna learn more and more shit. I feel like that's awful about them.
Until you decide to fall asleep. Just get with the program, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go take a nap at brunch. I'm just going to go sleep on top of the table knock over a bunch of mimosas.
Do what you warned people against earlier this year.
Going to sleep?
Yeah, remember you were telling people not to go to sleep after the election.
I probably did that. That sounds enough like me.
Don't you think it's time to take that nap?
Yeah.
That sweet.
I am tired.
Nap. Where you just accept that it's the 90s again.
Oh, boy. I wish. Well, speaking of long naps, we should all solemnly take off our hats and pour out a 40 for the loss of the greatest member of the Biden clan.
What happened?
Who passed away this weekend?
Who passed away?
He goes by the name Champ. Or he did.
The dog?
Yes, he's a dog, but first and foremost, he's a Biden, or he was.
Oh shit! That's the saddest thing I've heard all week.
I mean, it kind of is in a way.
I hate when dogs die. They're good boys.
Yeah, he was a good boy apparently. No, I only bring this up because I saw something that it comes across as maybe hyperbole, but then I started Googling a bit, and I really think based on my deep like analysis, where like, yes, I made some sort of algorithm to scour the internet. No, I didn't.
This is important. Do presidents bury their dogs in the rose garden?
No, they eat them. It's tradition.
Damn.
You put a cloth like over your head to hide your shame from God. Kind of like those deep fried birds that people eat, that rich people eat. I forget what they're called exactly.
Quails? Quails?
No. There's like it starts with an O. I just can't remember the word.
Ostrich?
They do it on the show Billions at one point.
No.
It's like a delicacy, and it's illegal, and that's what makes it even more like, ooh, the forbidden food, you know? Because they take like this beautiful songbird, and they just like deep fry it alive, and
that's terrible.
And the idea is that you're supposed to just eat it all in one bite, and that it's so deliciously sinful. But yeah, so that's what the Biden family was doing with Champ this weekend. Just, you know, it's kind of beautiful. They're intermingling their bodies.
I guess I've had a few forbidden foods. I can't judge too much on that.
What, eating your dog in the White House?
Well, I've eaten dog, and well, because I'm a monster.
Yeah. I mean, the more monstrous part is what I'm getting at here, which is that the U.S. media was spilling way more ink and like pixels over the loss of Champ than like as one person on Twitter put it, about like all of the Palestinian children that have been murdered by the Israelis in the last like week alone. Like, not to mention,
as the media would say, maybe they should have been good boys.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm completely fine with the sentiment, but that's not. It's not like we were over there. It's not like Israel was just killing all the dogs. That would have got an international outcry, like you wouldn't believe.
You know, it probably wouldn't though. They would say that the dogs were being used as human shields by Hamas or something. Wait, used as human shields?
Used as
canine shields?
Canine shields, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there was a lot of fucking boo-hoo about the dog, like, and that's fine. But like when you put it in the light of like all the things that these major media outlets don't cover, it just seems ridiculous and wrong. But it wasn't all bad news, because we got a new holiday. And the holiday happened just 2 days ago, on Saturday.
I was confused about this holiday because I'm fucking dumb. I mean, I know what it is now, but when I first started, I was like, what's this holiday again?
What, Juneteenth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've celebrated Juneteenth a little bit in the past, but like it feels slightly weird. It's like, is this really for me? Like, am I supposed to be celebrating this? But anyway, like the bigger point is that Biden has just made like a very surface level gesture of turning it into a national holiday, which it wasn't before. And it's just such a craven, like, obvious attempt at like placating people, because if you really wanted to do something to like fix like race relations and racial inequality in the United States, making like just officializing a fucking holiday is not the first step. That's like the last thing you do.
Maybe a debt jubilee would be a good first step.
Yeah, anything, like almost anything else would be more meaningful than this. And,
I mean, a debt jubilee wouldn't be reparations, but it'd be something.
Or, as we've said many times, canceling student debt.
Yeah, that's what I mean by debt jubilee. But I was just thinking bigger, like just a full-on debt jubilee where, you know, like I know they did it in ancient times, but everyone just was like one day a year where everyone's like, your debt's erased. Everyone's free.
Yeah, let's
start over.
That's considered like sacrilege these days. But,
Jesus advocated for it.
Who?
Jesus.
Yeah, but Jesus is only invoked when it's, you know, convenient for politicians to do so. So yeah. What was I gonna say? What
the Old Testament outsells the New Testament because people fucking hate that character. I don't know if that's why, but it is weird that the Old Testament outsells the New Testament. About that, because every time I go in the Bible, it just had both of them.
Well, there's this book that Jewish people read that does not include the New Testament.
That's a good point. And maybe I feel like you don't get many, like I've seen in my life a lot of those like small Old Testaments. They would just give them to me sometimes in East Tennessee. But I've never seen anyone just handing out the New Testament as a single book.
I feel like that probably exists, and I bet it's probably from like anti-Semitic people who are like, we don't need that Jewish first half. Too much Hebrewness. So yeah, Juneteenth is a national holiday. Biden is going to create something called the Summer of Freedom, where they're going to have a big 4th of July celebration. And the idea is that in their minds, they see by the 4th of July, like coronavirus is going to be truly done. I mean, they're not saying reach herd immunity or anything like that, but it's just like, of course, it's all just empty symbolism. But the AP here headline, "A Summer of Freedom, Vaccine Gives New Meaning to July 4th. Yeah, President Joe Biden wants to imbue Independence Day with new meaning this year by encouraging nationwide celebrations to mark the country's effective return to normalcy after 16 months of coronavirus pandemic disruption and more than 600,000 lives lost."
Is that just American lives?
Yeah, I mean, globally, it's in the millions.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I haven't followed the numbers super closely.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's well over 600,000 now. But with Biden, they round down. With Trump, they would round up because it was politically convenient. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I swear I'm not going to let this turn into a coronavirus like thing because we can't afford to go down that road right now. But yeah, I just thought it was just again like people jumping the gun, something we've been talking about regularly on the show. Like, yeah. Also, it's like, do you really need to encourage much? I mean, people are gonna party on the 4th of July no matter what. I don't know. It all just seemed like a dumb, empty gesture to me. So, yeah, a couple of topics juggling around here. We've got race. We've got. Well, take coronavirus out of here for a second. I found this old video from the 90s. It looks like the mid 90s or early 90s, I guess, where Biden is talking about Rodney King.
Oh yeah, I've seen this video a few times. I didn't see it in the notes though.
It's really fucked up.
I remember watching this video during the primaries. I think it even got some play during the primaries, but you know.
Yeah, probably when he looked like he was going to lose, and the media was way more critical of him for a few months there.
Oh, I think it was mostly just on left Twitter when people who were supporting a different candidate, back when everyone was supporting Andrew Yang or whoever they have supported.
Yeah, Andrew Yang.
That was the guy that we all loved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yangy
Sanders.
That guy. He was on all the big podcasts. He was. Anyhow.
Yeah, it's true. I just noticed in this video clip of Biden on the floor of the Senate. The point is he's just being fucking racist and really insensitive.
Is he more bald in this video clip than he is now?
Oh, yeah. But we could do a whole podcast on Biden's hair transformations over the years.
Rich people are just getting better and better at having hair. Like, you see those pictures of Elon Musk being bald, and now you're just
yeah, the plug technology is it's pretty advanced these days.
They really did cure it.
Yeah, it's amazing. We can all have full heads of hair as the ocean fucking swallows us up. Awesome.
It's important.
But just in this video, one of the things I noticed is that even when Biden's talking, it also made me realize that Biden is not. He's never been a good orator. Like, he is not. Like, at least Obama had that quality of being able to speak.
I think
without coming off like a total moron.
I think people are finding it charming to have someone that speaks like them.
Yeah, I know they find it charming. That's why, every time he says something crazy in an interview or on stage or in a press conference, people just nervously chuckle. You'll remember when he said he has no empathy for the millennials.
Yeah.
I was watching the video again the other day because I was actually trying to find. I almost wanted to make my own super clip of all the times Biden said "give me a break." So I was searching Biden "give me a break," and he says it during that video too. But
just for your personal use, no one else is not shared.
Yeah, I just watch it and get angry by myself.
Watch it, get worked up every morning.
No, it was because there was that article that was literally titled "Give Biden a Break."
Yeah.
And then and the thing we talked about last week where he's 120 days, give me a break. I need more time. Anyway, where's I going with that? Oh yeah, the millennial thing when he's I have no empathy for it, and everyone goes ha ha ha, and he stops them from laughing though. He puts his hand out. He's no, I have no empathy for it. It's oh, what a fucking asshole this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up in the most privileged time in world history, maybe, and thinks that anyone complaining about the state of things today is just belly aching over nothing because he's a fucking idiot. But when he's talking about, he also forgets Rodney King's name. And I almost feel like he did that just to sound like he didn't care, because he turns to this woman behind him and goes "Oh, what was the fella's name?" Let's just listen to it. It's 2 minutes long.
Okay.
Am I sharing the screen now? Can you see everything?
Yeah, I can see the video.
Okay.
I don't know if I can hear the sound, but I can see the video.
So this is from a guy that has I don't know. Again, I'm grabbing this from Twitter, but this is a C-SPAN archived clip. No funny business. This is just a real thing. But the guy on Twitter prefaces this with, Joe Biden is and always has been just as much of a racist as Donald Trump. Here's Biden excusing the illegal and unconstitutional beating of Rodney King by 4 LAPD police officers on the floor of the fucking Senate. Democrats elected a racist and continue to deny it. And let's hear him speak for himself.
Without clear guidance to do anything other than try to protect us by whatever means are necessary. I wonder what my friend from California would said if this beating case we saw out in Los Angeles, if in the process of that beating, that person confessed to having murdered somebody. Should it be admissible? If in the process of that beating, I asked that question to my friend. What was the fellow's name? Rodney King. If when Rodney King was being beaten, the guy we saw on television, in the process of that beating.
Notice how every time he says beating, he like swings his arm like as if he's pantomiming like beating someone. It's kind of weird. Maybe I'm probably reading too much into the body language, but it's just, if anything, it just shows that he's not good at speaking. Like if you can't say the word beating without pantomiming what beating is, anyway.
Rodney King confessed to a murder that he did commit. Should Rodney King be convicted under our laws?
Yeah, but
that's my question.
It's not just talking with his hands. He's literally going like this, like he's holding a nightstick and like swinging down. He's not just like waving his hands around.
I don't know under those circumstances. I really don't.
See, that's the problem.
The fact of the matter is, the answer is probably not.
He's talking to Orrin Hatch.
Yeah.
I don't know how the courts would construe that, but probably not.
Well, usually the courts construe beatings, eliciting confessions, as not a good thing. And the reason they do that is we have a proposition about self-incrimination in our country.
Isn't that a funny thing?
As a matter of fact, not only usually, always do they construe it that way. But my point is, there would be, assuming somebody had committed a murder, if the police beat the confession out of him.
See how he just waved his hands around there?
He did commit the murder and confessed to it, and that's what convicted him. Now, I wouldn't want that guy going free. I wouldn't want that person going free. They did commit a heinous murder. But the only way we're able to convict him is the police beat him up with a hose. Should that
just
person
did it again.
Be denied their constitutional rights? Well, my gut tells me no. Yes, they should be. Hang them. They did it. But why is it that we don't allow those kinds of things to be admissible?
This is your guy, everybody. He is on the floor of the Senate saying we should be able to beat confessions out of people. I mean, this is your George W. Bush. Like, we don't torture people. We do enhanced interrogation. Like, anyway.
You sure they didn't have a change of heart? I mean, it's been 20 years ago. It is possible for people to change. It is possible for political leaders to change their mind.
Yeah, that's true. Especially when it's convenient. It's always around when it's most convenient. No, I don't know if he's changed his mind on that, but like the fact that, I mean, that says something deeper about your whole character if you could ever be advocating for something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, then you're either like, I don't know, a fucking fascist of some sort if you think it's all right for like authority figures to torture people into confessing. Or, I mean, I don't know why else he'd be saying it. I mean, I think this was during his like, I gotta look as tough on crime as possible, like segment of his life. And
yeah.
Anyway, it's just funny the way he sounds so confident and sure of himself when he's like advocating for such a disgusting thing, and nobody cares, nobody will care, and nobody really cared back then because he wasn't anybody. Nobody knew who the fuck Joe Biden was until Obama came along, really.
Oh, was he the youngest senator in history or something at that time? Was that I mean, not at that time, but that was his original claim to fame?
I think he said that. I don't know if it's true because, you know, he lied about so much shit. He's also, he was also the top in his class as well. And he was majoring in three different things.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the youngest senator thing, I think is true, like verifiable.
Yeah, it probably is. I'm just saying I've only heard him say it, so I don't know.
Joseph Robinette Biden became the sixth youngest senator in the U.S. when he was elected to the United States Senate from Delaware in 1972, at age 29.
I don't trust what he says about his own like credentials at all. But yeah, and the fact that he's like this beating happened to Rodney King, this horrible thing, and he's like, well, what if Rodney King had been a murderer? Just like throwing these like crazy hypothetical situations out there. Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like people not as an excuse, but I think old people think that torture actually works, but it's been proven that torture basically doesn't work. And I think they're all for this type of stuff usually.
Yeah, there's a lot of horrible people in the
Shitty
world.
reasons.
They just maybe shouldn't be running the country.
Oh yeah,
especially
old
when
people
they're
shouldn't be running the country.
And then, okay, so finally, this doesn't really directly relate to Joe Biden, but I knew about some of this. I mean, I feel kind of foolish. Like, I guess I should have known this, but somehow I guess I never really read the thing I learned. I'll admit it. I didn't know this. I mean, here's the thing. I've said this before, but like, effectively, like, I would say slavery never ended in the U.S. And I mean,
I always thought that's what prisons are for.
Yeah, and the number one example probably would be prison labor, even though it, at least as far as I knew, at least in the modern day, is it at least compensated? But like, you know, it's like a technicality.
It's a weird form of compensation. It's sort of like,
and it's also forced. There's no choice in the matter.
This is a whole aside, but I feel like it fits here. A while ago, in a different life, I used to work for, I guess, home health services. But I would go and like take care of mentally challenged patients, like Down syndrome and other things. And I remember some of them, they would be required by the state to work to continue getting their benefits. So there'd be like these factory jobs that I would take them to, where they were paid literal peanuts because they were mentally challenged and on state benefits. But it always felt a bit like slave labor watching them.
That's fucking wild, man.
It was weird. It was pretty common. Which I think is another weird form of slave labor we have.
So they're like, the thinking is like, you need assistance from another human being just to like do basic home tasks, but yet you can go to a factory and like do shit on a factory line by yourself.
Yeah. And I think the other so like the flip side of it is they're doing it to help integrate and make them feel more like just a normal person.
Bullshit.
Which there isn't there to that, but like it okay.
Just, you know what? I just off the top of my head thought of another far better way you can integrate people and make them feel like they're part of like normal society and that they have social bonds and friendships. Bring them to a book club. Bring them to a like birthday party. Go to a fucking sports game, like go to a movie. Think of all the recreational things they could do, and like and socially interact with people that don't require sitting in a fucking gray, depressing factory, just like doing a monotonous task for basically no money. That's fucking fucked up, man. I didn't know that either. I'm learning a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, I think it's pretty common.
But what the thing I was getting at that I didn't know, and I don't know how I didn't know this for so long, but the 13th Amendment actually has this caveat, I guess, about abolishing slavery. So here, this is the 13th Amendment. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Wouldn't that be the nicer version? No, see, I skipped over a part there. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction.
Is that how they got away with chain gangs?
I mean, I guess all of this shit. But they probably don't even. I don't think they consider it slavery because they're still paid like $1 a day or whatever. You know, as we were talking about slavery last Monday with migrants at detention centers being forced to work for $1 a day. But they're not citizens either, so they're not really people. Anyway.
Well, as you know, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Yeah. Wasn't that Robert Heinlein?
Yeah, well, no such thing as free lunch.
He popularized that term, and the libertarians all fucking creamed their pants about it. Yeah, and then next to that was, this is something I did know about, but let's just read it for fun on the podcast. How the Clintons, when they were in the governor's mansion in Arkansas, they used literal slaves as their staff. You didn't know this?
No, I didn't know about this.
Let me share the screen so you can read it. So, I tried to figure out what book this is from. I couldn't exactly, but in any case, the information in this passage is in other places you can find, including...
He was generous enough.
Well, most damningly, including in one of Hillary Clinton's many books. I don't know why she writes so many fucking books. In her book called It Takes a Village. So here we go. Clinton was, however, generous enough to allow inmates from Arkansas prisons to work as unpaid servants. There's another name for unpaid servants, I've heard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it's called blavery. No. Flavery. I'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
Work as unpaid servants in the governor's mansion. In It Takes a Village, Hillary Clinton writes that the residence was staffed with African-American men in their 30s, since using prison labor at the governor's mansion was a long-standing tradition which kept down costs. This is Hillary Clinton writing this in her own book. It is unclear just how long-standing the tradition of having chained black laborers brought to work as maids and gardeners had been. But one has no doubt that as the white residents of a mansion staffed with unpaid blacks, the Clintons were continuing a certain historic Southern practice. Hillary Clinton did note, however, that she and Bill were sure not to show undue lenience to the servants, writing that, quote, "We enforced rules strictly and sent back to prison any inmate who broke a rule." I believe, I know for sure certain things in her, various memoirs have been taken out, when it was convenient to. I think when she was running in 2016, a bunch of her books, had passages changed in them, and people were pointing it out. This might have been one of those passages, but I'm not totally sure about that.
New editions would come out? It's amazing.
Yeah, for, the new editions, and they would, actually... as much as they could within their power,
get rid of the old copies.
You hear there were these are kind of hearsay stories, I guess, but about staffers who'd be, their task was to go buy every copy of the book at the bookstore, and then they'd have to order in the new editions. Yeah,
it's crazy. I never knew about the prisoners working at governors' mansions. I guess it's just in Arkansas. It's probably not just
there. Yeah.
I assume it happens in Tennessee too, even though I don't know because I've never actually searched that out.
It probably, and I noticed it said something as it being a Southern practice, but I'm sure it's happened all over the North as well. And even if it isn't, yeah. So let's say that they don't do that in California anymore, right?
Yeah.
But what they do in California, and they have done in the past, and will continue to do, yes, prison labor is used for sure, for fighting wildfires and all sorts of other things. But I found out a new wrinkle to that story today,
which is.
So California, they passed a law in 2019 that said private prisons cannot be used as immigration detention centers.
That's good.
And yeah, it is. That's a good step in the right direction. You'd think maybe they would just ban using all prisons as detention centers for immigrants. But they're specifically banning private prisons from being used that way. But what happened when they did that was immediately a Florida-based private prison corporation called Geo Group sued the state, trying to get the bill repealed. And then I think soon after,
of course they did.
Yeah, and soon after, the Trump administration, it says here, quickly filed its own lawsuit with similar claims against the law. And nothing was taking the law away, and as of right now, the law is still there. But wouldn't you believe it? I'll just read from the article. This is in the Los Angeles Times. Geo Group and federal officials appealed that decision. Okay, so they appealed the decision to keep the law again. Like, they're still just fighting for this thing. Last week, okay, this is very recent news. Last week, lawyers now representing the Biden administration urged a panel of judges on the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to repeal the law. Don't know why. Don't have a reason here. In other words, the Biden administration is literally doing the same thing that the Trump administration and a almost certainly evil private prison corporation is doing. So, where's your Messiah now? Ha ha ha. There we go. Like, I don't know.
Decorum.
Like, it's just, I'm torn about whether, like, how much to talk to update like the world of Biden acting like Trump, because it's just happening like every day. There's a new thing, and I think this is gonna have to be a once in a while podcast.
Do you know the meme? The meme where they show two pictures of something, and it's got the message from corporate to try to be like. Identify what's different, but then it's like the same thing. God, I'm just trying to say they're the same. Everything's the fucking same. Nothing's changed. Nothing ever changes.
Well, don't be so quick to judge that, because Guantanamo detainees say conditions are worse since Biden became president. So yeah, sometimes things change. They get worse.
Oh, that's good. Why is Guantanamo's? Why is the Bay still a thing? I thought we were closing the Bay.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember when
Obama was going to do that, right?
I remember when I voted for Obama. That was one of the reasons I voted for him.
I almost think Trump said he would close it too, but I'm not sure about that. Probably not. Because, I mean, he did. He also said he was going to like end, various military operations and stuff, but.
And he also said he was going to drain the swamp.
Yeah. I mean, of course, Trump's full of shit and stupid and all the rest. But I don't think... let's see here. So, President Joe Biden has said he plans to close Guantanamo Bay, the infamous military prison in Cuba, by the end of his term. Just give me more time. I need more time, Riggs. He does sound like Danny Glover in like Lethal Weapon or something in that video clip, the "Give Me More Time" clip.
Yeah.
120 days. Give me more time.
I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah. Biden's definitely feeling I'm too old for this shit. Except he's not, because like when he met the Queen, he like. He remarked that she was so much like his mother. She's like 10 years older than him.
His mom was young, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think she's actually probably more than 10 years older. I think she's like nearly 100. Biden's like 80, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Maybe just shy of 80. Anyway, so this was in Vice. Just to be clear, like this, I'm not reading from like fucking Breitbart or something. Like this Guantanamo detainees are saying conditions are worse now. But yeah, that's just another thing think about. That one's no fun.
Transgender immigrant who died in ICE custody was beaten and deprived of medical attention.
And then contrast that with the Twitter account of ICE, the agency, writing, during hashtag Pride Month, we recognize our hashtag LGBTQ plus employees. Reflect on the trial. Oh, see, that's the key term, employees. They only care about the employees. Reflect on the trials that their community has endured and rejoice with them in the triumphs of those who have bravely fought and continue to fight for full equality. Wow, very woke of ICE, isn't it? And yes, then you see this article from like the day after, I think. It's hard to tell actually here. Anyway, yeah, they beat a transgender immigrant to death, and looks very intentionally so. I mean, it wasn't just one of those light beatings to teach you a lesson. It was a beating plus you get no medical attention. ICE also was like spying on and intimidating like activists, like immigration activists. It's another headline we can kind of just roll by though, but now we talk a lot of shit on this podcast, but
no, not all.
I was saving this for the right moment, but Joe Biden has now canceled $3 billion of student loans.
Holy shit.
Insert applause noise and celebrate good times, come on music.
Were these for the people that suffered a terrorist attack?
Who? What?
This actually was more from the Republican side, but I saw that Mark Rubio had tried to get a bill in Congress that was basically like, if you had suffered a terrorist attack, you could get your loans given. And I was thinking, man, can I just like have my friends like stage a terrorist attack that I can be in?
You just like lightly gas the entire country so we can all technically say we survived a terrorist attack, and then we can all get our student loans taken care of. No, so like I mean, talk about meaningless gestures, superficial nonsense. $3 billion is 0.17% of all student loan debt. If you see it on a pie chart, you can barely see the amount. Obviously, 0.17 is very small. So yeah, why? Why even? I just like, my first thought when I see shit like this, these kind of stupid wastes of I mean, I get it. Like, they think that it's going to like soothe some people to see that headline and not look into it, right? So like Forbes printed the Biden has now canceled $3 billion of student loan debt. And, you know, people who just don't know what the real numbers are going to go, oh, he's doing something on that at least. You know, it's obviously just PR. It's a PR move, but
he could just sign it all away.
It just seems like trolling. It seems like he's taunting us. You know what I mean? Like, I use the word gaslighting, and I probably use the word gaslighting like in the wrong way sometimes on this podcast, but this feels like gaslighting. It's like, am I crazy, or did Biden just like eliminate 0.17% of the student loan debt? Like, what's the point of that other than, you know, the PR, like we said, but also just to like discourage people? It makes me feel fucking discouraged.
Yeah, me too.
But then I guess on a related note about something that's less discouraging,
my favorite magazine, Teen Vogue.
Yeah, what did Teen Vogue do about the student loan debt crisis?
I guess Teen Vogue was talking to people from the Debt Collective, which is a cool organization. But they had said, we're turning the pressure up a notch, handing Biden the key to fixing this national crisis on a silver platter. We wrote the entire executive order for him. Literally, all the president has to do is sign this piece of paper. So basically, I mean, all Biden has to do is sign a piece of paper saying that he's going to erase the national debt. It's completely within his, not national debt, the student loan debt. It's completely within his power. National debt part too, but whatever.
But remember, he's not sure. He doesn't know if he can do that. So he's got a task force on it to tell him whether he can do it or not.
Of course he can't do it.
He just did 0.17% of it, so why can't he just do it?
He's in bed with all the people who own the debt and want to profit off of it.
Yeah.
He's got a big bed.
It's just
make all of his bedfellows sad.
It's almost so sad that, like, it's like, I mean, I get what they're doing. They're making a point of, like, look, like, we even took the time to, like, get our lawyers on this and, like, write up what this kind of executive order would look like. So you don't even have to bother with that. Just sign this piece of paper, please. Yeah. So you think he's going to sign it?
Of course not.
That'd be so funny if he's like, after all of this shit of just like fucking people over, dicking around, spending his like 50 years of his life just being a piece of shit in the government, and then he's like, Teen Vogue really opened my eyes to what's going on. Like,
I mean, if he signed it, I won't say another bad thing. I'll even get mad at you if you do. I'll be like, I don't care. I don't care all the shitty things he's doing. He signed that damn order. That's how easy it would be for me to sell out.
Our podcast dynamic would really change, man. It would be
anytime you brought up something negative, I'd be like, yeah, but he signed that order.
It would be like fucking classic, like, I don't know, like say circa like 2004 Fox News, MSNBC, like two people just screaming at each other on a split screen. Like,
you'd be like, things have gotten worse in every prison. Guantanamo Bay, they're just waterboarding people for fun now. They're not even trying to get information. They just wanted to give the guards something to do. And they're like, waterboarding's for everyone. Like, it doesn't matter. Got rid of student debt.
Yeah. I think that's like basically all the shit. I mean, there's one more quick thing here. So China sent 200,000 COVID vaccines to Trinidad and Tobago. The U.S. is obsessed and jealous of China and foolishly announces it is sending 80 vials. That is about 400 doses. So. Yeah, and then the government, the U.S. Embassy, like Twitter account, and I think other government affiliated accounts all posted out this like this sort of official looking like press release or something, I guess you'd call it. That just like it's just the U.S. trying to make itself look like it's really generous and great, like
doing all it can.
Yeah, it's just saying we sent 80 vials of the Pfizer vaccine. Meanwhile, and China has sent 200,000.
Why the fuck did they even release this press release? I know they sent the vials for like, I guess like the Trinidad and Tobago foreign ministry or whatever. Some government officials. They sent them there specifically for government officials. And I was like, you didn't have to say anything. They wouldn't have like come under fire for this if they just like stayed quiet about it.
Yeah, no one would have
noticed. The fact
that
they did it to like, I think the only reason they released this is like show, oh, we're doing stuff too. I was like, well, maybe it's okay to do stuff and not talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like
you don't have to make everything into a grand gesture.
It's like this person said, who I read their commentary on this. The U.S. is obsessed and jealous of China.
It can't even get propaganda right.
Yeah. I also pulled up a bunch of like shit that happened today. I mean, obviously we got to wrap up pretty soon here, but I don't know. But we could talk about a few of these things if you want.
Sure.
On this day, let's see, 1893, the first Ferris wheel. Does that mean the first Ferris wheel in existence?
I think so.
Opens at the Columbia Exposition in Chicago, Illinois. Ooh, Chicago. I feel a twinge of pride.
I find Ferris wheels to be a bit scary. I've been on a few, though. I was even on that giant one in Osaka, which surprised me because I actually do find Ferris wheels to be scary. Roller coasters never bother me. I love roller coasters. Ferris wheels, though, I think the slowness scares me.
Because it gives you more time to think about falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
Like fast, thrill rides, they don't bother me. I'll just be over in a couple of minutes and have fun while it's happening. But Ferris wheels, get time to think.
Yeah.
Were you on that crazy one in Osaka, though? It's I think maybe the biggest in the world. I don't actually know what it is.
No, I haven't. I mean, I know there's a couple big ones in Japan in general. I know I've gone by one in Tokyo, but no, I've been to Osaka once, and it was really, really briefly. I didn't really see much at all. First woman to parachute from an airplane happened in 1913.
This is an aside. I'd have to find the link for you. But there was a guy who just set the world record for the longest jump without parachute. 15,000 feet. Guy jumped out of an airplane without a parachute. 15,000 feet. There's
without?
a whole video of him. Yeah. Following him to his descent. And survived.
Where did he land?
Terrifying. They had a net out for him, but still.
Net?
He had to he had to jump in the right way and make sure that he was going to hit the net.
That must be one hell of a net.
It's like an 8-minute long video of just watching this guy jump out of the plane and then fall.
That's fucking crazy. I am definitely curious to see that. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I can send you the link. We can put the link in the notes even. It's actually a cool video.
I mean, I've seen that documentary about the guy who jumped from space, basically.
Yeah, I've seen that one too.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty kind of famous. It was sponsored by Red Bull, though. He pulled the parachute and it's Red Bull. Just seems kind of I don't know, sucking the whatever's interesting out of it in a way. But no, that guy was a real daredevil. I think in that documentary they show how he had set records for shortest jumps, I guess. He would just jump off short buildings, which is probably more dangerous than jumping from a really high place.
Yeah.
But then also had beat all the records for highest whatever skydiving things. Yeah. Oh, Smedley Butler, our good old Smedley, author of War is a Racket. He died on this day in 1940. Rest in peace, Smedley Butler and Champ Biden.
I lied, by the way. That jump was 25,000 feet, not 15,000 feet.
Damn. Yeah, I think
Smedley Butler.
Oh, here's another
cool
big
guy.
Oh, what?
Smedley was a cool guy.
Yeah. Ronald Reagan wasn't too cool, and someone shot him in the head in 1982 on this day.
He survived because he's got a strong head.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure at least one of the Secret Service guys died in that. And
I think so.
Nobody mentions that part. But yeah. I don't know.
Bread riots.
Huh?
Nothing.
Sorry.
So the bread riots in Casablanca, Morocco, kills 66 people.
Yes, the bread riots. Well, the government says that 66 people were killed, and the opposition estimates 637 people.
Sartre was born. One of my favorites one of my favorite love triangles with him and Camus and Boulevard.
I always forget that that was a love
Boulevard.
triangle there.
Yeah, it was a love triangle. Best love triangle in history. Boulevard was by far the smartest of those three. She's way cooler than either of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I read her big book in college, and
Yeah, Sex in the City. It's a good one.
yeah. I think I got to go.
Okay, let's just end it here.
Okay. I guess I don't think I have any recommendations today. Do you?
Go get vaccinated.
Recommendation is get vaccinated.
I'll do that recommendation that everyone else is doing these days.
Yeah, like James Corden in his awesome music video propaganda thing. All right. I will see you later.
Definitely, this is the wrong place to be. There's blood on the futon. There's a kid drinking fire, going down to the sea. They got people to meet, shaking hands with themselves, looking out for themselves. When they ask you for credit, give them a branch. When they want you to get it, chew on the grass. I know, 'cause they told me to tell you. There's nothing to tell you, there's nothing to sell you. In the afternoon, riding the scapegoat, burning equipment, decomposing. Cool off your jets, take off your sweats. I got a funny feeling they got plastic in the afterlife. When they want you to cry, leap into the sky. When they suck your mind like a pigeon you fly. I know, it's the positive people running from their time, looking for some feeling.
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?